And today we're going to talk about chapter 16 to the end in Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. And this is just an amazing classic. I really like this book. So let's just finish this book because in earlier lessons we read a lot, about this much, and now we're going to review this much. And so let's just dive into chapter 16. Now, so do you think that it matters hunted and unhunted territory? Do you think that coons will always be around even in hunted territory? What do you think? Okay, anyway, so do you think that Grandpa is a little too excited? Do you think that how do you think that Grandpa sort of makes everything a little more lively? It's because he's just really funny, right? So I think he just makes it really lively. Okay, now, do you think that, how many coons did you think that Billy was going to get? I guessed about 3 or 4, and that was right. I think I got 3. And so, do you think that this coon hunting business is really brutal for the dogs, and the dogs shouldn't do it? Because at times they fight and fight. What do you think? And anyway, and then the coon got the dog stumped, right? One coon put a really amazing trick. You, who are a human, right? You're a human. And do you think you could have figured it out? I could not have figured it out, even, and so that just goes to show that at times there are real miracles around, right? That even we can't really understand. And how do you think that little ant even found this coon? It's a miracle, right? And so now, do you think that old Dan and little Ann, they're hunting and all that, right? And so, and the coon has gotten them stuffed. Did you think that old Dan and Ali's little Ann was going to solve this? Or did you have a feeling that this was not going to get solved? I knew that little Ann would solve it, and of course she does, right? Now, so, anyway, now they're on the final round, right? And now, so, do you think that, Billy is going to win the gold cup? And then Billy's youngest sister, will be happy, right? And also Billy will be happy. And now, so do you think that if you had been Billy, would you have been nervous or would you have been excited? How would you feel? Well, I would feel really, really, really excited because I just don't want to be nervous. And even if I lose, my dogs almost won, right? So that's pretty impressive, right? Okay, now so let's also talk about Billy, right? Do you think that he has more hunting skills than his father or grandfather? I think so. When you think about that, do you think that is strange or do you think that's normal? And at times, are you better at something than an adult? Well, I am better at typing than my mom. I can type really fast. I've gotten at times I have this typing test on the computer, and then at times I get better than 96 or 97% than everybody else who has taken it. So I'm pretty fast, really fast. Now, so do you think that this, this fighting, right? Did you think that one of the dogs, either Old Dan or Little Ann, was actually gonna get drowned? And do you think that Billy should just call it off or not? And do you think that Old Dan and Little Ann, even if they almost died trying, they just died trying, do you think they would still try to get a coon, no matter what? I think so. And do you think that, would you call it like loyal or bravery, or would you call that foolish? Well, I mean, Old Dan and Little Ann, they love hunting, right? And so I can't blame them. But in other circumstances, that might have been pretty foolish. Could you think of an example? What about you're doing a race, okay? And then what, you're running and running and running and running, and so but then you this hurts, and then this hurts, and this hurts, and then you sprain your ankle a little, but you know, if you keep on running just because you want to win, like that would be foolish, not like courageous or brave or strong. That would be foolish because you need to get the sprained ankle. You can't run on it for like 2 weeks or something, or else it will never fully heal, and you might that will be like sprained forever or something. So yeah, that will be foolish. Now, so have you ever seen a dog like licks another dog's cuts before? And really, have you ever seen a dog like a pair of dogs like Old Dan and Little Ann? Even the smartest and most lovingest dogs I know do not do that. So I was pretty impressed. Now, chapter 17. Do you think that a storm actually is going to come? And if so, do you think that Old Dan and Little Ann will be okay? And like, do you think that they won't be able to like continue, and that will make them lose? And like, because of that, like, do you think that they'll just give up and they'll lose? Okay, yeah, I just asked the same question, but in a different way. Now, so do you think that they should just all give up just for the safety or not? Now, okay, so another thing I wanted to talk about was the storm, right? And the storm, like, what does it maybe symbolize? Compare, like, this whole story, like, you know, and the storm is right when they're about to win, maybe, you know. What does this sort of how does this have to sort of do with life? Can you think of anything like that? And actually, this is one example, okay? And so really, just think of a statement that could help you in life, a philosophy, you know? Like, you can be like a philosopher like Aristotle or Socrates or Plato, you know, in the classical times or ancient Greek times. You can be the junior philosopher of the 21st century. And then, so yeah. You know, what can you figure out from this? Maybe, you know, at times, there are one thing, okay, so what about, you could put like maybe the road, you know, like not everything is perfect, right? And at times you just have to face the challenges and fight them. That could be one. And you know, there's actually a lot of examples that you could do, but you know, like, it's just that not everything is just smooth and clear. At times it's muggy and foggy, and you just can't see 15 feet, you know? Okay, so now, do you think that, you know, they're actually going to get more coons even in the midst of a storm? And have you ever been or at least experienced a storm before? If you have, did you like it? Well, I've never been in a storm. I mean, rain, yes, but not a storm. And if there was like a serious storm with like lightning and everything, then I would be safe and cozy in my house. And it wasn't a big one either. It was just a, you know, my house was very sturdy, so I'd be like, you know, and then I'll be playing some Monopoly and everything will be totally fine. Now, so do you think that, you know, I have a question. Do you think that 3 men's lives equaling, you know, 2 dogs, like, what is more important in your opinion? And you might be like, but this is just a story, and you might just choose Old Dan and Little Ann. Think about yourself being in the storm, and maybe your view will be like suddenly totally different. Okay? Now, so now let's talk about these two amazing hounds. And so now, have you ever seen a hound that devoted in hunting and just even in the snow, sleet, they hunt a coon, right? And so, are you ever this passionate about something? I don't care what it is. It could be piano, violin, reading, I don't know, maybe it could be, let's see, just trying to look around my room for inspiration. Maybe you like to build computers or work or code, or maybe you like to make glass, or maybe you want to be the next Thomas Edison and you like inventing, or you might like video cameras, or you might like to film, or you might like to draw, you know? Lots of them. And yeah, there are many more. Now, so do you think, so have you ever been this passionate, even in the storm, even in the darkness? Like, have you ever been this passionate about something like old Dan and little Anna? I mean, how passionate could you be that you, in the midst of a storm, and now you might be like, hey, I mean, like in violin there is no storm, or maybe in reading there is no storm. Think of the blockades in when you're reading. Okay, number one, maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that, but, you know, like, just think about it. What would the storm be to you? And, you know, I just wanted to ask you that. You guys are so lucky that you have the power to pause. That's a PP, I didn't know that. Like, you know, that's alliteration strikes again. Pretty cool. Okay, now, so now, do you think that, you know, these coons, right? They get some more and more coons. And like, did you really have a feeling that they were going to actually win this, even if there was a storm? Now, so, you know, Little Ann came out, right? And do you think that Little Ann would lead them to Old Dan or not? What do you think? Now, so, do you think that, you know, Grandpa got a sprained ankle? Will he be okay? Like, have you ever gotten a sprained ankle? And if you have, like, do you think that you should walk on it? I mean, like, you know, Grandpa's sort of walking on it. Like, do you think that you should do it or not? Anyway, so do you think that, Grandpa, even if he's, even a sprained ankle, do you think that it's gonna stop Grandpa from missing out on all the fun here or not? I don't think that even a bulldozer will stop Grandpa from having some fun and in a coon hunt, right? And he deserves it, really. Okay, so now, you know, Billy just points toward this direction. Off the dogs go. Do you think the dogs should have done this? And like, have you ever seen someone just point in the direction, like, you know, and suddenly the dogs are going? Like, have you ever? Now, you know me. I have never met any dog as smart, or at least even close as smart as Old Dan and Little Ann. Yeah, there are just, those two dogs are the most amazing dogs in the world. If there were dog Olympics, they would definitely win every sport, especially coon hunting. Oh my, I got an inspiration. I could make the first dog Olympics. Wow. And the snail Olympics. And the cat Olympics. And then I could also make the fish Olympics. And then the bird Olympics. And then the iguana Olympics. Wow. I got a great inspiration here. And please do not copy me, you know? Warning, I will sue you. Okay, I will not sue you. I don't have the money, I don't have the authority either because I'm not 18 years old. But, you know, I trust you. But if you do, then I'll try to sue you the first chance, okay? And then, so, yeah. Don't let that happen. Okay, just joking. Now, yeah, I was just really joking. Now let's go back to the red fern grows, you know? The red fern grows here is right now just screaming at me. Why am I talking about suing the Snail Olympics and the Snail Olympics in general? Now, so do you think that these two hounds, right? Why am I calling them these two hounds? We know who they are, Lil Ann and Old Ann. I just almost forgot. Now, so they just went off, and do you think that they're gonna find that coon? And when they do you think that they are going to win? And even if they do not win, do you think that they deserve to win? I think they do. Okay, now chapter 18. Now, do you think that when the searchers came, right? Now, did you think that they would have Old Dan and Little Ann with them? I had a feeling no, right? And then suddenly, Mr. Benson just came out and he said this, you know? He said, I found them. They're frozen solid. They're nothing but whiteouts from the tips of their noses to the ends of their tails. Anyway, that made Billy faint. Have you ever fainted in your life before? I have never. And so I was like, whoa, Billy, you're a good fainter. And so have you ever been this devoted in something that you actually have fainted? I mean, this is really hard because I do not have a pet except for my fish. And when a fish dies, he's a good companion and all, but it's just not something to faint over. You know what I mean? And for fish lovers, you know, back down. Yeah, just try to calm down for fish lovers. Yeah, I love fish too. I'm just saying, I won't forget about that. Okay, now, so do you think that Old Dan and Little Ann actually will be okay and alive? And have you ever survived through like an extreme something, extreme coolness, extreme hotness, extreme humanness? Yeah, humanness? Is that a word? Humanness. Now I got it. You know? So anything, you know, extreme something. Have you ever survived? I don't know why I say surprised. Well, if you're like, I have never been in an extreme weather, then just do like an extreme anything. I have survived through extreme roller coaster and through an extreme roller coaster. And let me know. And don't get me started about that, or I'll be talking for 10 minutes straight. Okay, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna mention it. So, now, when we looked at the dogs, right? I mean, a normal dog, do you think that the normal dog would have been able to like realize that if he just lay down here frozen to death? Like, do you think that he could have realized that? No. Old Dan and Little Ann, like I said a million times before, are special. Okay, now the thing is, Billy won, and won. He won. Awesome. If I had some confetti around, I would have thrown it into the air. Now, so when Billy got the golden cup, how do you think that he felt? And you can use a simile or a metaphor. And like, this was a really big accomplishment to Billy. Like, what is it to you? I'm pretty sure that you do not hunt. If you do, wow. But I'm pretty sure that you do not hunt, and so like to you, what would that big accomplishment be? Maybe getting a book published and then making a movie out of it. That would be really cool. Now, so do you think that the little sister finally is going to be happy here, you know? And also, what do you think is more prettiest, the silver or the golden cup? Now, let's go back into chapter 1. Okay? And in chapter 1, we're going to start with the cups. We've seen the silver one already, and now the golden one, right? Now we know why Billy was thinking. And so we can now pat ourselves on the back for figuring it out. Okay, so, now, do you think that Mama here, what do you think was more important to you? Yes, the golden cup was more important, but I think that the money was more important. Not just because she was greedy, but why? Because they finally could get into town. And do you think that would be a very good thing for Billy? And do you think that Billy will enjoy town? Well, at least I hope that he enjoys it and that he begins to get settled in. But the Ozarks are still going to be a little, home for him. More than just, something else. Now, so, do you think that now everything's happy, right? And do you think that everything will be happily ever after and it will just end happily ever after? Or do you have a feeling that one problem is going to come up? Even if we only have 2 more chapters left, do you think there's going to be a problem? I have a feeling so. Let's go into chapter 19, which in my opinion is the most brutal chapter in the story. Let's nickname it the brutal chapter, okay? Now, let us start. But before that, now, I wanted to talk about Mama and Papa, right? And so, why did you think that they were so happy? And do you think that going to town is necessarily a good thing? What do you think here? Now, chapter 19, the brutal chapter. So, what do you think that they were chasing here? I didn't think that it was a bobcat. It was a mountain lion. Once you knew it was a mountain lion, who did you think was going to win? I thought that Old Dan and Little Ant was going to win, but, mountain lions are fierce. And if you had been Billy, what would you have done? And do you think that, what would you have done differently? And I did not like this part. I get really queasy. And so I was I'm like that right now. So in the end, Billy had to drag the dogs home. At least the mountain lion was dead, right? But did you have a feeling that they were both going to die? I had a feeling, And then Old Dan died. He died. So, why do you think that Wilson Rawls ended the story by having Old Dan dying? And do you think that it was really fair for Billy? And then Little Ann doesn't have the will to live. And so Little Ann dies. Now, is this fair for Billy in your opinion? And then, and do you think that Billy will ever get over that pain and hurt in his heart or not? I don't know. I hope he does though. And do you think that he should just leave behind the memory of dogs forever though, even if he stops hurting? No, his dogs were just really important. Oh my, I need some Kleenex or tissues. Unfortunately, they're downstairs. I'll eat it immediately after I finish recording. Now, have you ever been hurt like this before? Now, Billy's been seriously hurt. Have you ever been this hurt? I mean, even when you're terrified, even when you're sad, this hurt? Have you ever been this hurt? Fortunately, I have not been but, I have not. So, I'm lucky. Now, anyway, why do you think that Wilson Rawls here, right? Wilson Rawls, he didn't kill the dogs, but he killed the dogs in his writing. Okay, now that just makes Wilson Rawls, who is one of my all-time favorite authors, sound like a murderer. But anyway, let's just change it. What about Wilson Rawls? He had them killed in his writing. That just makes him sound like a mass evil killer, a terrorist. Okay, now I have no idea. Just why did that Wilson Rawls kill these dogs in the story? Okay, I can never master how to not make him look like a murderer, which he isn't. So, just like that. Well, I think maybe, things have to end. But do they really have to end here? And, it's really sad for Billy. And so this is a really hard chapter to get through. And could you even read the whole chapter without wincing or crying a little? I winced and cried. And in the end, I was so emotional that I need to get lots of tissues and I cried a little, which is perfectly okay. Actually, that means that you really like a book. And that the more you cry and the more you get emotional, the more it means the book to you. The book means more to you. Now, so finally, let's go to chapter 20. It's been a year, right? And now, do you think that Billy's, heartache, has died down to a little, little minor bruise that will go away, but not completely, but still a little? And so, do you think that they really should have left the Ozarks here? And Papa said that God had to separate them because God didn't want a family to separate, so that He killed the dogs, right? Now, do you think that God should have done this? Because the dogs have been a really important part of Billy's life. And do you think that he should have done this? I know I shouldn't have questioned it. Yeah, but I'm just questioning. I'm curious in your opinion, if God did the right thing. Anyway, so when he walked up, a red fern was between the dogs. Did you really believe in legends? But right at that moment, did you really believe it? I definitely did. And do you think that this is just no coincidence and it actually is the real deal, the real thing? I think that it is, it's just a real thing. And it's just not the, fake thing, but the real thing. Not a fern painted red or anything like that, And so now the burial site is sacred. Now, do you think that old Dan and little Ann deserve this? Definitely, right? And why do you think that they got this? They're just amazing, beautiful dogs. And God was like, well, because I had to kill them, I think that I'll make their site beautiful. And He did. And now, finally, we're going back, okay? 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, I do not know, to adult Billy, right? And why isn't that Billy hasn't gone back to the Ozarks yet, even though he has a lot of time? Maybe money or time or something, right? And if you haven't Billy, what do you think here? Now, so, finally, I wanted to talk about Billy and what he feels about this, about the red fern, and do you think that he feels really sad about everything, or do you think that when he thinks about this, he always smiles a little? He smiles a little, even if it's a little sad smile, right? And so, do you really believe in the legend of the sacred red fern? And do you think it's always going to be in your heart, like Billy? I think so. And we finished the book. Okay. Do you think that Where the Red Fern Grows is a good title? It's an amazing title. Wilson Rawls is a genius. I mean, yes, he didn't discover E equals MC squared. He wasn't Isaac Newton who discovered that white light has all the colors of the rainbow and about gravity, but he's still a genius. You are a genius. Everybody on the planet is a genius. Extraterrestrial life is genius, you know? I'm pretty sure that E.T., if you watch the movie, E.T. is a genius. Okay, so I'm getting a little carried away, but you get what I mean, right? And so now, do you think that all in all, would you consider Wilson Ralph a genius? Or at least, like, what do you consider him as? Amazing author, genius, hero, role model? I read lots of works of literature, and this one is really especially close to my heart. Yeah, I love a lot of others, but this is close to my heart. It'll always be close to my heart. What's your favorite book, like, just really close to your heart kind of book? Mine has to be this book, okay? Now, we have gone through a lot here. And so you might be like, oh my, I think I'm gonna die. This is too hard. Or you might be like, oh, this is so fun. Or you might just be like, okay, I'm okay with this. Like, you aren't like, or you aren't like, you're just normal. Now, yeah, I don't know, but what I really wanted to talk about here was, Billy, he gets over this pain. If you had been Billy, would you have gotten over this pain or not? What do you think here? And do you think that dog is actually a man's best friend, or at least boy's best friend? And like, as an animal, what do you think a best friend is? And it might actually be a human, you know? Because humans are animals. What do you think is actually man's best friend? A man? A woman? Well, this man is also counts as a woman. Or maybe it could be a dog. I just think that dog is the man's best friend. Sorry, fish. Yeah, but anyway, so I hope that you really enjoyed Where the Red Fern Grows. So yeah, we finished it, and now this book is just it's placed in the 1900s, but it's just a really timeless one. That it can happen. People will read this probably hundreds of years from now. And so, now let's just go through the whole book, okay? At least just flip through it like this. And this is just paper. Or maybe you're reading an ebook, I don't know. But even though that this is just paper, and these are just black, squiggles. Well, some people can know this as squiggles. This book is just really heart touching, right? And so, if you had seen this book just lying around, what would have been your first thing to do with this? Me? I would have picked it up and read at least one of my favorite parts, okay? That was what I would do because I love this book. Now, so let's just go to the few last questions, okay? And now, first of all, what was your favorite part in the whole book? I'm not gonna say the chapters because let's just talk about the whole book here. What was your favorite part in the whole book? Maybe the contest. That was my definitely favorite part. And this time I want to talk about least favorite parts because, there were a few bad parts here. I mean, all of it was amazing, but, what's your least favorite part? The dog's death, Oh, I just don't want to think about it right now. What about favorite character and least favorite character? My favorite character would be Billy, and there aren't really any antagonists, but I'm gonna say Rainy, because Reuben had at least some sense. Actually, Rainy and Reuben, you can do a pair or of three, okay? If you can't really choose about that, which would be like your top 3 least favorite, or top 2, or maybe you just did one. Now, so finally, how did you like the book? Of course, I love it. I mean, you can see that clearly. But what about you? If some kid had asked, what's a good book that you can read, then what would it be? What would you choose? I would choose The Red Fern Grows. I'd be like, this book is definitely the best book I've ever read in my life. I would be like that. Like, that's how much I like it. Like, could you think of an example? Like, just think of, an example and maybe just say it. I don't know. Just express in some way Okay, how much you like the book. Maybe you can also say, what would you recommend, okay? Now, so let's predict. How do you think that Billy felt in Tahlequah, at least just the town? And do you think that he actually got friends? And do you think that he'll ever get another dog? And also, what do you think that Billy's like? What do you think his job is going to be? Now, yeah, we've officially finished the book. Whoa. We finished this, guys. Where the Red Fern Grows. So really just big honor to do this book with you. I hope that you had an amazing time with me. Keep on reading because it's awesome, Maybe reread this book again or read all the books, okay? I have actually a lot of books over there, a lot of books over there, and lots of books over there. Have a great rest of your day or night. And now just go out there, be creative, be awesome, and just really, stories really stick to your heart, right? They just don't want to let go, and I don't want to let go either. And so, let your deeds stick to the hearts of people, okay? And you don't have to be stressed about this. I know you can do it. You can, okay? Bye. I hope that you really enjoyed Where the Red Fern Grows with me, okay? Yeah, I know you can do it again, okay?